And so this fort, by that point, once we establish that picket line, this fort is no longer needed. Okay, but it's still here till the 1870s. We're still stationing soldiers here. You know, how would you like to come to Minnesota without Deetwoods off and wear wool uniforms all day long and drill in this quadrangle? And your job is to escort annuities out to Long Prairie and give them to the Winnebagos. This is well-populated area, you know, and it's a huge push in the 1870s that you got all this military reservation up here that's prime land along the Mississippi River that they want to settle and turn into farms. So a lot of pressure from the government to give up that land. They give up portions of it over time. They eventually give it all up. They abandon this post, and within a couple of years, all the settlers come here, and this is like, you know, this is the Menards of their day. And it's a tradition in those communities to have a militia company in the 1870s, 1880s, 1890s. And the adjutant general of Minnesota at that time is a government official whose job it is to arm and inspect militia companies, but they're truly city-owned companies. And then at the turn of the century, we have, I think it's called the Dodge Act, that federalizes and formalizes the National Guard, okay? So all these companies then get brought into the National Guard system and become numbered companies, and they're still the 1st Minnesota, 2nd Minnesota, and all that up to 1917 when we form divisions and we start to parcel out but regimental numbers to all these units. And so the 1st Minnesota Artillery becomes the 151 Artillery Regiment, and our 151 splits into 2 subsequent battalions, the 175 and the 151 eventually. In the 30s, Walsh and some of the other pivotal World War I leaders get together, convince the government to buy this chunk of land on the south end of Camp Ripley. So you got the cantonment, and probably, I don't think it even gets up to here, is the first buy. And it becomes the Camp Ripley as we know it. And then in the 50s, you see 2 more land acquisitions that take it all the way up to the Crow Wing River. So, but up to that, you know, we trained down at Lake Pepin, and you'll see pictures in the museum of, you know, soldiers in the 1880s and 90s training by Pepin.